Hello.
Hello, my brother. How are you?
Finally, I'm doing very well, thank you.
Yeah,
It's good to it's good to be back.
yes. I see that you enjoyed yourself this past weekend, eh?
Do you call it enjoyment, sir?
Yes, come on. You met some good political stakeholders, and then you did fantastic job on the radio program, and I'm sure you went to the birthday ceremony of our sister, so that's chocolation too. So that wasn't bad. That was not a bad weekend. So I think you enjoyed yourself,
This
so.
is not a show for all of this that you are saying all of this flattery, sir. This is not a show for flattery.
Believe me, if you are good at it, you are good at it. I'm happy you enjoyed yourself. So how was it?
It is tiring.
Yeah.
All I can say is tiring. Flying from one city, from one state to the other, and I'm back home today. Like I'm back home.
Thank God for Johnny Mercy. That's the biggest thing.
Say yeah for Johnny Mercies. That's just the most important thing.
Most important.
It was a good experience. The event in Atlanta, Georgia, that is the town hall, was a success. And
right?
Yes, it was the APC town hall meeting. The US, I think, is a Georgia section or the Georgia team, and it was more like a youth program.
Okay.
But you still had other stakeholders. We had a bunch of stakeholders there. We had people that had run for governorship of Lagos State. We had people that held public offices. There was a lady from she's from the Northern Extraction. She was from Missouri. Okay. They came down, a very strong delegation, a Northern delegation to be precise. I was like,
yeah, I think I met them in New Jersey. Oh
yeah, they showed up and they showed out.
Yeah.
They showed up and they showed out. It was a good event, and meeting Prince Omoli in person. The Diaspora Directorate DG.
Yeah.
So it was good. Everything went nice.
Good man.
The TV.
You enjoyed your time with him, right?
Yes, the TV interview also went very well.
Okay.
With the TV interview, I think it was from the UK. It did that for about 2 hours. I was able to answer all of their questions.
Yeah.
And it was shocking. It was like, you came here and you're answering all of our questions. There was no one you couldn't answer. I was like, that's why I'm here.
Yeah.
There's no question you want to ask that doesn't have answers. Yeah. We all have answers to all of your questions. And that is why we're advocating for Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu. I'm not saying that Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu has solutions to everything. He is proposing solutions from a realistic standpoint that he believes will work. Based on his antecedents.
Yes.
Based on his antecedents and things that he has done in Lagos State that worked. So he wants to bring it from a state scale, a state level, to a federal level. And we went to celebrate one of our hosts, one of our speakers, a party yesterday in Dallas, because I'm now back in Houston. Wow. So Houston, Atlanta, Dallas,
Houston.
Out to Houston. Whoa. All in a space of 2 days, 3 days.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. Yeah,
I couldn't make it to Atlanta because of my kids and all that, but I'm glad you were able to represent us.
Yeah, absolutely. So now, quick one. I wanted to use this opportunity because of time. I know we don't have time on our side, because I know from a judiciary perspective, because we talked about judicial reforms last week, coincidentally. From a judicial perspective, like what happened in Osun State.
Okay.
Yeah, with the beavers issues and the overvoting and all of that, there seems to be a lot of misinformation out there, and it's quite shocking. Now, it's like if it fell on the side of the PDP, then we say democracy is working, everything is working in Nigeria. Yeah. But if it falls on the side of the APC, there's no democracy in Nigeria, nothing seems to work in Nigeria. Now it's like, is it that people are openly, like they are supporting overvoting, they are supporting rigging? I don't understand. Like, is it because the rigging doesn't favor you, or the rigging favors you? Because there is rigging. It's obvious.
Yes, I think the angst out there is that they think that the states require new faces, and Mr. Adeleke, the Governor Adeleke, represents a fresh air from what has been the norm, which is, this APC governor led. Now, nobody is saying he shouldn't win. The tribunal is just saying win with honor. Make sure you win the right way. And also, we want to bring credibility to the process, because you can want somebody, but you need to galvanize more people to show up for that person, and also to do it within the legal ramification of that process itself. So once you go outside of the process, so if by some means there is excessive voting that is either beneficial to both parties, once they take it out, and if truly the state wants Governor Adeleke should still win, irrespective of taking out the overvoting. So it's not a case of whether, APC should, Governor Adeleke should not be trying to force himself on the people. That's not the process. The process is that's not the point. The point is that, did he win legally? If he had won legally, and there's a duty on the defendant to go out there and make sure that he did it the right way, especially if there's evidence that there is overvoting. He should not ignore it and say, the people just want a new face. So, and that's what APC has gone to do. If APC had lost, that's fine. They would have lost, but there is something wrong with the process. They found it out, and they said it is not legal. Then they counted the remaining after taking out the invalidated votes, and the APC won. So the problem is people just don't want to see old faces. But then that's what we are saying. Go get your PVC, go out there and vote, and make sure your vote count, and do it the right way. Or else this is what will happen. And there's nothing anyone can do.
I'll say this and then we'll move to our show for today.
Yes.
It's just so funny that when it happened in Zamfara State, when APC won governorship, state, federal, senate, won everything, right? They cancelled everything.
And
the current governor, the current governor, Matawali, was formerly in PDP. He lost to the other guy. That one defeated him by about maybe 500,000 votes or something, like whooped him real bad.
Wow.
But when he got in, he switched to APC because Zamfara is a traditional APC state. It is not a PDP state. Like if you look at the history, ANPP, CPC, and all of that. Right. They didn't complain when they cancelled everything. They didn't complain in Rivers State when they cancelled all APC candidates back in 2019.
Yes.
They didn't complain.
I remember that.
They didn't complain in Bayelsa State 2 days to inauguration. It was not even the governor that had the certificate issue. It was his deputy. They already built the podium for the inauguration, for the swearing in. They took it from APC and gave it to PDP. Nobody made noise.
No problem.
Now something, it was not a problem. Democracy is working. Now this will happen. There's overvoting. There's rigging. Is it that you people are supporting rigging and overvoting? Do you people really want change?
By implication, that's what they are saying. But they don't want to come out and say that. They want to put it on the person fighting for the correct way the process should have been adopted. And they say, he's forcing himself on the people. The people didn't want him. The only way the people can show that they don't want him is to vote more correctly. If they vote less, the rule says the majority wins. And after taking out the invalidated votes, this is what the result is. If it had been Governor Adeleke would have won. And if truly the people really voted for him, then that would have been the result. But having taken out all the invalidated votes, the previous governor came out on top. So they can go all the way to appeals and Supreme Court, and there's nothing wrong with that. Is there
all right? Without further ado, let's go to the topic of the day. Why we are all here? Why we're always here every Sunday? We've been doing this in the last 2-3 months now. We are on episode 11 right now. Yep. This is the Renewed Hope 2023. Part of the goodies that Asiwaju Ahmed Bola Tinubu is bringing to us. All things being equal, May 29, 2023, he will be sworn in. All things being equal. So today, we'd like to speak on. We are going to be speaking on sport, entertainment, and culture. So now I'm going to remove my engineering hat. I'm going to wear my DJ hat today. I'm going to remove my engineering hat once again. I'm going to wear my goalkeeping hat. I used to be I'm a traditional goalkeeper.
I used to be a goalkeeper too, but
so I'm a traditional goalkeeper. So I'm going to be putting all of that, and also the culture also. So I will start by talking about briefly where our culture, our entertainment, and our sports is or are. I want to focus more on entertainment. And in the last couple of years, we have seen how our entertainment industry has blossomed and have grown. And we can see it from the kind of music that we push out there, like the Afrobeats, big. Just recently, we had 2 Nigerian movies in Regal Cinemas here in the US. I think it is, what's it called? Booker Street. There's a movie called Booker Street, and is it Giacomo? I can't remember if it's Giacomo. There are 2. One by Twin Abraham, and one by Funke Akindele.
Okay.
There were 2.
Was it in the cinemas?
Yes, in America here. Regal Cinemas.
Okay.
So yes, they're growing.
They're growing.
So now, we knew where we were 10 years ago, 15 years ago. Now, I remember last month at my company's, the company I work for, when we're having our end of the year party, our end of the year celebration here, Giacomo. Feyi, you're supposed to be on this live, because you're an entertainment person. You should be the one explaining all these things I'm explaining. Send your request to. So, while it was a beachside party and all of that stuff, I was hearing Wizkid. I was like, yes, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But if I'm at work in the control room where the operators are and they're doing their thing, and I just walk in, I say, how you guys doing? Oh, we're doing fine. And then I hear, you don't need no other body. I'll say, oh, that's Wizkid. Yeah. That's a Nigerian singing.
Man.
It's showing that we are stepping up. Our movies, our entertainment, our fashion. We are really stepping up. And Asiwaju has seen this as a way of selling us. Where's Femi? Feishayo. I just brought Feishayo in. He's an entertainment person. He does theater arts and all of that. So now, like we typically do, I'm just going to read out the different segments or the different sections as to what the Tinubu administration will do. Okay. We can see you. Can you see us? Feishayo? We can't hear you.
Okay, good evening.
Oh, yes, we can
hear you. Good
evening,
everyone.
We can hear you. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Good evening, everyone.
All right. Well, without further ado, now tell us about your industry. Where is your industry today? Or maybe tell people what you do and tell them, because I know you do theater arts, and tell them about where we are so that we can now talk about what Asiwaju is promising, assuring that he's going to do for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is David. I'm an actor and I want to be a film producer too. When we talk about Nigerian entertainment, yes, talking of a nation on its own. A nation is a nation on its own. Unlike the way the Hollywood has treated their own, that the Hollywood has treated their own, the Bollywood has treated their own. They are all nations on their own, which the federal government find interesting and really invest in it. That is paving way for them as of today. And I believe if you're an entertainment person, you know that Nigerians know they carry last when it comes to entertainment. We are always there. Look at the kind of movies we have been producing. This is not the first time. If you check way back in the 90s, we have asked that trend way back from 90s. Those are the days of Baba Salah. Those are the kind of movies. What's it called? Ogundi. Those people did a lot for movie industry. They always do a better movie than too, with they use celluloid to produce. So I believe with Ashiwaju now, because the only problem we have is the issue of the government not, the only problem we have is the issue of the government not investing enough. They are not even investing in entertainment when it comes to entertainment in Nigeria as a whole. They just abandon them. And this is a place that can generate more revenue for the government too, and more jobs opportunity for the people. The people that are doing entertainment, they are only doing it because of the passion, not because of the money they see. Because if it's the money, they are not even seeing anything. You see maybe an individual that is doing three jobs or 4 jobs that 4 people were supposed to do. They are not supposed to combine these 4. They are supposed to be a separate man for each job. But yeah, this is what we do. And we believe if government can invest in it, we can as well go further as the way all this Bollywood and Hollywood are doing today. And if you check, trust me.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
Check, trust me. If you check, trust me. Over there, actors are richer, even than footballers, because their government invests more in their entertainment industry. Top 5 richest actors as of 2022 they are richer than Ronaldo, that is number 1 in football. So there's no doubt that in the entertainment industry, there are money and there are ways they can create more revenue for the government.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that analysis into what's going on in your industry. So we may be asking you some of these questions. When we ask some of these questions, it might be like, what do you think Ashiwaju is talking about? So firstly, it says governance and leadership in creative industries. It said a presidential creative industry advisory team will be established to steer government efforts in providing a more conducive environment. We also talked about upgrading the regulatory frameworks to create a better business environment, and also look at copyright and intellectual property protection. That is a big one. So I think that this particular question, let me drive it at the lawyer, at Barrister Bisiri, because we are talking about copyright, infringement, and intellectual property. So now, yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead before Barrister speaks.
The problem Nigerians have, is the copyright. And that was what has killed our industry here in Nigeria. That copyright. If you pirate a movie now, trust me, when Agoshikole come out and what's the name of this movie? Election Bar also. When the
Election Bar was on Netflix. Election Bar was on Netflix. Yes.
When those two films, the day they come out, they show it on cinema. Trust me, they were on pirate here in Nigeria. That is so. That is bad. These are things that are bringing those actors down. They are supposed to create more wealth for themselves, but people are bringing them down through those piracy. Trust me, I don't think the last time I checked, if you pirate someone's job, I think the court order is around, is it 300 naira or so? 300. The last time I checked. 300 or so. The last time I checked, it's long ago.
You made a very valid point here. You made a very valid point here because last week, Barrister Bisiriyu was said almost the same thing that you said, but in a different dimension. He said that because Ashiwaju is saying he wants to review the kind of fines, penalties, the kind of, review it, revamp and review. And he was saying that there are some of our laws that the fines are like 20 naira, 10 kobo, things, the way they find them in the 60s. So now you are even saying it in your own industry, that the price for piracy is like 300 naira or something, or something of that So now let me move this to a legal standpoint now. So from a legal perspective, Barrister Bisiri, what is your take on what Asiwaju is planning to do as regards the legal framework, the regulations, and copyright protection, intellectual property protection, because of what Feishayo has said now? What do you think Asiwaju is saying he wants to do?
So I think in every work of art, because it is a product of abstract mind power, it requires some form of protection. And that's what the best countries in the world that have provided revenue opportunities for people with creative minds have done. They provided legislation to protect the work of art, you know. And the problem with Nigeria is not the lack of those laws and legislation. It is the enforcement of those laws and legislation. And it's because the marketing process is so porous that you have people, it is even the people producing that are selling that software to those that are using the copyright and creating illegal copies for sale. Because it is in some cases they have to get that film from somewhere. Sometimes they go to the cinema. Here you go to the cinema and they record. You know, it's not as if the problem is not globally when it comes to like movies. You know, you used to have that. But the point is that how do you enforce it? And I believe that the Asiwaju government will make it a lot easier now because of the streaming online marketplace that we have now. So, for instance, music now, most music are already uploaded in either Spotify or YouTube Music or somewhere that those artists get paid by the amount of viewers and the amount of people that have played it and advert, that they don't rely on CDs and all that any longer to that level. And you now find most Nigerian comedians creating episodes on YouTube for people to watch, and it is monetized at that level too. Now, the big ones that require so much more funding, you know, that also requires some form of protection. And I think that's where Asiwaju is going exactly, that the legislation will provide some more protection for artists, because we are seeing global attraction to this work of art, to movies, to music, Nigerian music. You go on Netflix, you see a lot of Nigerian movies, good quality ones. I saw one recently on Prime. I think it was either King or something. Lovely. I was one of the few ones that promoted it amongst my friends here. And I can say that Nigerians are moving forward. You may be able to get it somewhere else, but at least through streaming, they get something back. They get some kind of money back. That legislation will be able to reduce it completely. That's not going to happen. That's impossible, because we don't have the enforcement framework to make that work effectively. But we can make it less appealing for people by maybe subsidizing more of those streaming platforms, that when Nigerians maybe have a business with Netflix and all that, and say, okay, if you're interested in a particular business, you know, we will reduce the taxes or something, to the extent that it will encourage more people to maybe register for Netflix in Nigeria and watch Nigerian movies.
Wait. You are moving into the next conversation, okay, which is good. I think the birthday lady is here. Happy birthday, Yetunde.
Happy birthday, madam. I hope you enjoy.
She fed me very well yesterday. Sorry, I didn't post it, but she fed me very well. She fed me very well.
That's good.
Yeah.
I saw your cheek has evolved a little bit.
If you go back down, they will stress me in Texas here if you go back down. So now, with what you have said now, I'm going to switch the conversation a little because you talk about tax incentives, which Asiwaju is saying here to promote local production, promote, like, create the jobs that Feishaye was even alluding to and talking about. But there's something he said. He said he wants to create a media city, more like a Hollywood.
Similar to Hollywood, yeah.
People can come in and come and shoot their movies, where people can come in and come and shoot their music videos, where people can come in and come and, you know, display their artwork, or you watch live theater events. So what is your take on that, Feisha? You're like the Asiwaju initiative of wanting to build something somewhat similar to Hollywood, like a film, like a, I won't call it a film village, but like a media city. What is your take on that?
You see, the best thing that can ever happen to an entertainment if Asiwaju can achieve that, because the former president, that President Goodluck Jonathan, said the same thing, which I think he talked to some people about it, which never come to an existence up to date. You see, for us, the most thing that come our way when we go on shooting movies is the issue of locations and so-called the South out there that want to collect a wole. So if Asiwaju can actually do this for us, then there will know I want to pay this. We just move into the city where no one will disturb us, where no noise will disturb us, that we'll be able to have our perfect shooting movie. And if you check those nations like Hollywood and Bollywood, they all have their cities which they carry out those effects that make their production very, very effective.
Okay.
And we believe if Asiwaju can do this for us too, it will be fine. It is very, very good. Because I've been saying it for a long time. And we that are actors, we said we want a movie city for us. So we may advocate it for us. And me, I believe Asiwaju is a man of his word. And I believe he's going to do it. He will never say something he will not do. Even though he will not finish it, he will still do something that everybody will know that, yes, he has kicked off something important. It's now left to another person that inherits it to now proceed. But I believe Asiwaju is going to do it. And that will be a job done for entertainment industry.
Yes, sir. All right. Let us move forward because it's more like going into infrastructure. So you also talked about the infrastructure also, where, like you've alluded to, upgrading different like venues, stadiums, theaters across the country. Because by doing that also, it will support whatever program is trying to achieve, or we're trying to achieve in Nigeria. Because at the end of the day, all of this is still circled around investment, job opportunities, and revenue. Nigeria has the market. The market is there. But it is, do we have the infrastructure to open up that new, open up that new form of revenue? Because Asiwaju is revenue driven. He is revenue driven. He is evidence-based and database driven. Now, is this going to get me money? I see an opportunity here. Let us expand this industry. And that is what he says.
And I like it. I like the area about the one about the global animation studios, because
oh wow, you talked about that.
Yeah, wow. And also hospitality, because Nigerians do parties a lot, and we find that I went to some parties of friends, and the way they do it is pretty classy, but I believe that with an institution of hospitality as it promised, or increase the knowledge base and skills required in hospitality and tourism business, I think those kind of parties can also be upgraded a little bit. Now, the animation studio, global animation is a big business, $1 billion business in the world. number one, Nigerians play a lot of video games. It's through animation that they create all those systems that bring about these video games and the storyline and all that. And we have a lot of talents out there. You know, the manga industry coming from Japan is crazy money driven. You know, that if we can create something of an African animation with the stories of Africa, of the tortoise and the monkey, of the, you know, all this nice stuff that we can sell out and turn into foreign exchange, foreign income. This animation industry will help do that, will attract young people into it, and then we'll make money, and it's easier to exchange income on the international space through this because it's already out there, you know. So I believe that if you can create this, create the modern city, Dubai modern city, media city, as he said, upgrade existing entertainment venues and stadia across the country, you know, improve the technical skills relating to hospitality, because every Saturday is party, whether they are hungry or not. Even in COVID, they find party to do. You know.
let me chime in here, sir. Let me give you data.
Yes.
Do you know that in Lagos State alone, on a weekend for just parties, we spend over 5 billion naira in Lagos?
Wow.
At least 5 billion naira. I mean, from Thursday, when we start in Lagos, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Do you know, I even saw something the other day that got me scared. They are doing weddings on Mondays now in Lagos.
Whoa.
Yes, they are doing weddings on Mondays in Lagos because there's no space to do the wedding on Thursday, on Friday, on Saturday, on Sunday. Heaven help you if you want to do an event and I say you are looking for a hall. That's when you know that people are doing parties in Lagos. Over 5 billion naira industry. There's enough at 5 billion naira spent. And now we've not talked about Dorime, the Dorime boys in the club.
Wow.
Popping. This one's the guys that are popping Ace of Spades. That are popping Ace of Spades in Nigeria might be selling for 600, 700, 800,000 naira, or even maybe 1 million naira. We have drinks that they pop that is 2 million naira in Lagos. I'm not adding that there.
Wow.
Yeah. And you rightfully said it that we do parties, because yesterday, when I was leaving Mama Tuzi's birthday bash, the lady that came to pick me via the Uber, you should be amazed at what she was saying about Nigeria, Africa in general. She was telling me about beautiful, beautiful things about us. I'm like, look at how somebody that is African American is saying beautiful things about Nigeria.
Wow.
I wish that we as Nigerians can be selling Nigeria that way. This lady was telling me about Kenya, Uganda, Ghana, Nigeria. She was telling me about Lagos. She was telling me about traffic in Lagos. How you be in traffic till 2 a.m.? I'm like, what do you know about Lagos? In my mind, she's explaining Lagos to me. I was like, what? You know, also we talk about hospitality. A lot of us complain. It's we Nigerians that are serving ourselves anyway. Oh, we don't have good customer care service. Oh, when you go to this hotel, they talk to you anyhow. Oh, when you're trying to talk to somebody to get a service, it's a problem. As you are saying, especially for hospitality, there's going to be training. And I want to link this to content creators and to bloggers. Because content creators and bloggers are supposed to be marketing Nigeria, but they may be indirectly demarketing Nigeria because they are trying to draw traffic. So I'm thinking what Ashwaju is also saying here also is possible. This is what he said. A hospitality training program will be established to give young Nigerians the knowledge and skills required to create a high-quality workforce for the tourism and hospitality industry. He sees all of this and wants to fix them. So moving forward, let's move on because of time. Now, this is a big one. Sports development. Now, I think we all can attest to the fact that sports is lacking a lot of funding. Because the sports that we focus on the most is football, for the most part. Because of some issues that are going on, our ladies that qualified for the female basketball World Cup didn't go for it. Because I think the president said it shouldn't go because we're having lots of issues in that ministry or in that sector. So Asiwaju is looking at how can we unleash the talent? What do we need to give them to succeed, to bring glory to Nigeria and to the Nigerian people? And you know, we've had great athletes, be them footballers, be them runners, track and field, swimmers. No, we don't have great. We are trying our swimming. Let me correct myself with this swimming. Because they will say, they should go and bring people from Ilaje or go and bring people from Delta State of Bayelsa and let them come and swim. As we have water there, that's how they have water in South Africa. They have water in the Netherlands. They have water in Australia. They have water in America. Because these are the powerhouses. And in fact, somebody won Moroccan won gold in the last Olympics in swimming. He won gold. I was crying when I was watching it. I cried. When I watched it live, I cried. I was happy as an African. I was proud that a Moroccan defeated all of them there. Him too, he was shocked. He didn't know. He didn't know that he even won. So we have the talents, but how do we grow? How do we harness? How do we develop this talent? And because remember, we are divided by tribal lines. We are divided by what do they call it? Religious lines. The only thing that would bring all of us together is when Nigeria is playing match. When Nigeria they play ball, when we are playing match like this, everybody comes together as one. We don't care who you are, where you're from, or something. When Nigeria scores, we hug ourselves, we scream goal together, we celebrate together. So that's also to show that in Nigeria, for example, sports brings people together. Sport brings people together. So he's saying using sports diplomacy in international relations also to also help buttress the love and the affection amongst Nigerians. But also, it's just saying basically we have to fund that industry very well. So what are your thoughts? Mr. Feishai, I don't know if
yes, I'm a sportman. Let me say this is what I believe the government can do, Asiwaju government can do. You see, for you to have a successful sportsman in your country, you need to go back to the grassroots, to fetch out talent from there and train them. Because I remember when I was in secondary school, I'm a footballer. I played 7. I played wing. I'm a winger, midfielder. I played 7. And during that time, I was opportunity to play in 4 different. I was a footballer. I played football. I played rugby. I played cricket, and I played table tennis. Those 4 aspects, I can play those 4 aspects very well without any confusion. And what happened was that because my secondary school in those days, that is AUD Grammar School in Obele, Randio Avenue, opposite Randio Avenue, create an environment for us that we can practice all these sports. And if as at then, the government can come into those can create that, first from the local government, they can create some kind of inter-school sport that can fetch out fresh talent, and they can bring them to London to train them. Then from there, the federal government will take a step in order to bring them into London so that they can compete with higher level in international level. And think this is where I believe they can get their own form and fund them and to create an enable environment for them to practice their talent. Unlike, look at this lady of recent, what's it called? This Ogun State lady that won the fastest lady of recent.
She's Ijebu. She's Ijebu. Let me claim
Look at Tosin Amusan now. because she discovered herself. Not that Nigerian discovered her. She discovered herself. And even though her parents were saying that, no, go for this, she went there and still go out with her own, and she was successful there today. Even what she's earning today, if she has gone to where she did what her parents told her, she may not be earning that kind of what she's earning, the honor and everything she's earning today. And those things are out there. To the local government, to the state government, and to the federal government, they need to work hand in hand for them to come to a conclusion on how to create talent, bring out talent when it comes to sport.
All right.
That's my take on it.
Thank you very much. Lawyer Barrister Bisiriyu, so you can, what are your thoughts on that? Because also I know you what's the word? You used to play sports, and from a legal perspective, even though it's amateur level anyway, it's okay. From a sport development perspective, the legal aspect because when we speak here, we establish that all of these ideas, all of these promises, all of this I will do, I have done before. If you don't get the right policies in place, if you don't get the right regulations in place, it's a problem.
Yes.
So now, from that angle, I want you to talk about what Asiwaju is looking to do as regards sports development. And then once you're done with that, we can open the floor for people to ask questions on arts, culture, sports, and entertainment. And we can tell them, okay, this is what Asiwaju says is going to do, so that we can round up. Thank you, sir.
So basically, the biggest one I see here is the new National Sports Industry Policy, NISP. And I think the idea behind that is that he wants to coordinate sports development program and create enabling environment for sports to thrive as a business. And the idea behind that is capitalism, in short. And the moment you provide an opportunity of profit in a program with both government and private partnership, the government can gradually withdraw and let there be competition in the market to the extent that it will benefit the nation states as a whole. Now, with this policy, I think which allows for incentives that will provide to attract private sector investment and participation in sports infrastructure development. Because the problem is not the government not putting money in sports. The problem is actually managing the money to the right outcome, to provide the right outcome. And
hold on, sir. Please, just hold on a few seconds. I see somebody here, Humble Henry. Humble Henry, I know you talk about sports a lot and all of that on your own platform. So I want you to ask questions as regards to sports. We want to answer that question, what Asiwaju plans to do. Humble Henry, we need your question. I'm calling you out, sir. Continue, sir.
Yeah. So I believe that if there is a policy that for some reason the local government gets incentivized for monitoring and managing sports program, the state government gets some form of incentives, it will trickle all the way either up or down, because everything starts from local. You cannot just start, you cannot just become a representative of Nigeria in soccer without first playing in the backyard field behind your house or close to your school and all that. So
on the street.
Yeah, people have to know you in your locality first before you start moving up. So I think it has to be a trickle up effect. Help the local government. Let the local government pay attention. Have like a sports department that is funded and is meant to account for what they are doing. And the only way to account is what are the new prospects you have. Let them go and compete at this level. And at that level, they move up. Because here in America, there are always programs of all levels with every sport. with soccer now, you as a parent will have to be the one to invest in your child from the age. There are so much programs from the age of 4 years old. My son started going to a soccer, and they're already asking him to join a club.
Is your wife one of those soccer moms? Is she a soccer mom? Is she? Because we have issues with soccer moms, so how those soccer moms, we have problem with them. Soccer moms in Africa.
Yeah, there
is a you understand when I see that soccer moms.
Because what they do is that they take their kids to all the sports events. They travel all weekend. So all the major sports stakeholders, the best sports actors that you see were supported by their family. It wasn't from the government. So the government provide an enabling environment for those programs to exist with incentives that allow most of these parents to invest in their children. Now, because we are not at that level in terms of society, we can start with some form of local government incentives, because that will reduce the amount of money a parent will sponsor his child to buy cleats, to buy jersey and all that. And then when the child becomes, it starts going up gradually. Once there is an opportunity for the child to become a professional, the parents should always benefit from it. And that will encourage more parents to allow their kids to do more sports. I remember when we were
growing up. And that is what Ashwaju is proposing.
Yes, I remember when we were growing up, my dad, once a year that you want to play football, be like, are you crazy? What's happening? But now, we see that soccer is a multi-billion-dollar business now. That soccer players, within 15 years of their career, they are billionaires. They are set for the rest of their life. So I believe Ashwaju understands this. I believe he's going to implement some of this policy. And I believe that it will include the private sectors and the parents who are stakeholders in the lives of these kids to push Nigeria forward. And everything starts from the family. Everything starts from the local government. And with Ashwaju, who is a grassroots man, is going to make this happen.
All right. Thank you very, very, very much. Thank you very much. So, guys, we need your questions. We have just like 5 more minutes left for the program. We need questions. Questions on culture, on art, entertainment, and sport.
And also, I think that, because when I was in Nigeria, I had a viewing center. And it was a good business to a certain extent. I think if there is a policy that incentivizes that too, because watching of sports is also becoming an entertainment, a big entertainment that draws money.
Absolutely.
And the government itself can make money out of that. Some kind of taxes that if you can provide.
They are taxing us too much, sir. They are taxing us too much, sir. That is the informal economy. People will complain. Even though, we'll complain.
Yeah, they will complain. But as long as they can see the government's effect in that. Because you need a land. I did the business. I know what I'm talking about. You need a land. You need subscription with DSTV. You need to buy TV. You need to buy generator. You need to buy gas. And you need to employ people that will collect money. It's a serious business. And out of all that, you are using the state's apparatus, the protection of the states, to make that kind of money. So it does not matter whether it's informal or formal. If there is some incentive that, okay, if you are running a viewing center, you get 10% off electricity every month. You get 10% off this. And the government asks you for 5% of that. I don't think that is bad. And if there can be a provision for DSTV to make sure that they provide this access for young people that want to watch soccer and all that, people will pay. It's just a matter
we have a question.
Okay.
We have a question. Call Me Wally said, Nigeria is regarded as a juggernaut on the continent, but yet we never host major sports events / tournaments. Seems to be an infrastructure problem.
You are
How
breaking.
hosting rights be ensured?
You are breaking.
Myself?
Yes.
Myself?
Yes.
Can you hear me now? Is it better now?
I can hear you now.
I can hear you now.
Okay. Nigeria is regarded as a juggernaut on the continent, but yet we never host major sports events and tournaments. Seems to be an infrastructure problem. How will hosting rights be ensured? I think that question encapsulates everything that we've been talking about in the last 11 weeks. I think we have to get security rights, because the people that we are going to host, for whatever sports, we need to make sure that they are secure. We need to ensure that there is power. We need to ensure that there is power. We need to ensure that there are good road networks for them. And also from the hospitality standpoint, that we have top-notch places that they can lay their head in. We need to also ensure that they have the infrastructure to train and all of that. Now, Asiwaju has said he's going to do all of this. Asiwaju said he's going to do all of this. So you don't have to worry about it. With power, it's going to go with the presidential, the PPI, the Presidential Power Initiative. When it comes to roads, he already has a national infrastructural plan in place. When it comes to hospitality, that is working with the private sector. When it comes to infrastructure, also working with the private sector through public-private partnerships, because only the government alone cannot do it. And also private individuals cannot do it just by themselves. They have to work hand in hand. So Asiwaju is going to do all of that and more. The next one is how does the Asiwaju government intend to get sponsor for sporting clubs? Or is it government that will sponsor all clubs? This one is a tough question.
Very, very tough.
Well, but that has not. We've always had private individuals who own clubs. Most of the Eyimba and Abiola Babes and all these people were managed by private people. So the government, so the government cannot. I don't think that is the business of the government. The government can only create a kind of good policy to allow private sectors to build some of these infrastructures that will encourage more club ownership. And those club ownership will employ the talents that grow from this local and homes that we have spoken about. And with that, they too can be employed internationally if that is their dream. There are some people who may want to go out there. There are some people that want to stay in. Not everyone will play for Arsenal or play for Manchester United. Some people, if there is a good government-enabled structure of sports activity that allows for private sectors to invest in it, and you have a good Premier League, for instance, that employs some of these talents, they can have a good living. They can work well within certain times and a good living. They can create something. So I don't think that it is Asiwaju's job to sponsor clubs. Nobody does that. All clubs all over the world are owned privately, and it is not a business. But the game itself, the management of the game, the control of the game is a state entity like the FA and all these other institutions. So they manage that to keep it viable, to allow the people to be interested in it, so that all these private sector people are not fighting each other over who should get the money of this, who should get TV right, who should get this right, who should get that right. So I think the policy, the new national sports industry policy will manage that, will put that, it will be inclusive of that, in the sense that if you have the money, you want to create a club that can, make returns in the system. Nigerians love football. Most Nigerians don't go to the stadium anymore. You want to make it safe. Like you said, security first. Security is important, road network. hospitality is important because you want to go to the stadium with your girlfriend and you don't want anybody harassing your girlfriend there, you know, just because they want to watch Enyimba play. You know, you want to have so many of these things in place. It's not going to take 4 years. It's not going to take 8 years, but it's gradual process with the right mind, with the right plan. You will always get to the deliverable. And I think Ashwaju can.
I think I see. I wanted to end this session, but now Neo Skies has fired another question, and it will be unfair if I ignore this question. He says, "Will the Ashwaju government intend to control politicking going on in NFF? What is his plan on that?" Now, NFF is the Nigerian Football Federation. It's just like every ministry, department, and/or agency. Remember, the government are a reflection of its people.
Yes.
The government is we Nigerians that are doing this bureaucracy in all of this.
I don't believe that. FIFA has its problem too.
Okay.
Yes.
No, I'm speaking. You see, now they want to cause division between us. I'm speaking. I'm speaking from the mindset of ministries, departments, and agencies in Nigeria.
Yes.
That's how I'm looking at it.
Yes.
Like it's the same. Don't just single out NFF.
Yes, there are so many, but it's just because so many people are attracted to football. And football has a lot of impact in people's lives because it's a game of 12 people that could be from any tribe. It does not, like a tennis, you could be Yoruba and play on your own. You don't need other tribes to succeed. But that is the only sport I know we have basketball and all that every Nigerian wants to be represented, wants his tribe to be represented in the team. You know, and that brings politics because
I agree.
There is no way around that. So how Ashwaju will manage that, I don't know. I've not met him. He has not discussed that with me, and it's not in this plan. So NFF is not.
It's not in the plan. You are right. It's not in the plan.
It's not in the plan. So we can only speculate here, and our speculation will be that he has a new national sports industry policy, and that will encompass everything relating to NFF2, structural infrastructure, business of sports, building talents, encouraging new skills in the entertainment world, and so many other things. Because it cannot address everything, but I believe every institution, even the English Football Association has its politics. That they have scandals too, and it is managed by bureaucrats too. And FIFA has its problem of bribery and all that. CAF has its problem of bribery, and these are institutions that are managed by bureaucrats with some form of government involvement in it. So NFF is not in our manifesto, but I believe Ashwaju has it in mind to manage those two.
All right. Two more. There are two questions today that I thought that we're not going to have questions at all. Now we're having the most questions.
In sports now, they like sports.
In sports, you have more questions.
So let me. I don't know. Neo Skies and call me Wally. I will try to. I'm going to address. So these are the last ones. We're not taking anyone. Let me do this here. Quick one. The politicking in tribal is tribal mostly. Will there be quota representation, or will they have the freedom to continue this present politicking causing wahala? Well, we have the Federal Characters Commission that is enshrined in the 1999 Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended, and it talks about tribes equally represented across board. And that is why even in our ministries, for example, like ministers, they always come from like one state, one minister, one state, one minister. So there's the Federal Characters Commission. Now, equality, equity, justice, and fairness. That one is a topic on its own. But we already have it. We already have what you just said addressed. Now, this last one. This is a topic special to me. Having played sport collegiately, that is in the university. Will there be opportunities to map out a robust intercollegiate league in Nigeria where students can benefit from scholarships. Now, call me Wale, I may not have a direct answer to that question, but this is what Ashwaju said is going to do. And I am thinking that may address it maybe 50% with what you are saying. He says, we will unleash the potential and talent of our youth in different sports through a dynamic training and funding approach that will upgrade the standard of our sports development. The return of school, sports and grassroots sports, that means the return. So that means it was kept in the curb. So now it's going to bring it back. So that's meaning also maybe intercollegiate, like Feishayo said, inter-secondary school, and all of that, inter-primary school, inter-secondary school programs will be made the cornerstone of our sports development policy. So there's a policy that is going to be in place that will address all of these concerns. And on that note, I'd like to thank everyone for coming today. Next week, Yeti Mama, Mama Tuzi, here today, you are going to be here. You have left us for about 2-3 weeks now. So next week, we are going to be talking about youth and women empowerment. That is a very, very, very big topic because I think we're like 3 weeks from the elections. Something like that. So we have, we're going to talk about what Ashwaju has in store for the youth and what he has in store for women. Because I know if you look at Lagos, for example, I know he's done a lot for the women, most especially with those courts, those special courts, public offenders courts and all of that, domestic violence and all of that. Don't worry, we're going to talk about all of this next week. But I want to thank Barrister Bisiriyu. Thank you for coming today. I know it was very tight schedule, but thank you. Feishayo, our theater, our actor, our production, our number 7 winger. Thank you very much for coming. Until next week, see you guys. Bye-bye.